Criminals have a habit of trying to get out of a potential arrest once they've been caught red-handed, but sometimes they take it a step even further. Here are 5 cases where criminals make things worse for themselves by shooting at the cops. Case number 1. On the 4th of May 2022, 2 police officers, McMurphy and Sally, pulled over a truck, and when they approached the vehicle, they saw a 23-year-old man, later identified as Brian, sitting in the driver's seat and had not put the car in parking mode.
What's up, brother? Hey, how we doing? You in park? Is this your truck?
Yes, sir.
How long you been having it?
2018.
Since how long?
2018.
All right, you got driver's license on you, buddy? Where you headed to?
Right now,
What?
we're gonna go get a hotel.
Oh, all right, where at?
I'm not sure yet. Well, I was gonna take some of my stuff for storage.
Okay. You got any weapons in here, brother?
Yes.
Okay.
Brian's responses seemed somewhat unhinged. He's not looking at the officer as if he doesn't want to leak out some information. He also lies, saying that he does not have any weapons on him. Officer McMurphy doesn't know about the lie just yet, but what he does know is that Brian has an ankle monitor attached to his feet.
Is that an ankle monitor?
Yes, sir. It is. GPS mom out on Bond.
What are you doing on your phone?
I was gonna show you some pictures of the truck when I
Of what?
first got it. The vehicle when I first got it.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. Let's get that ID.
Oh, no.
No, yeah, you're fine. You don't have any ID on you? Here, why don't you do me a favor? Take off your seatbelt and step out. Did you just hear me? Look at me. Take off your seatbelt.
Are you requesting me?
I'm telling you to take off your seatbelt and step out. Why don't we do this? Put your hands. All right.
Brian is already out on bond and doesn't have a driver's license either. As a result, Officer McMurphy tells him to get out of his car for a detailed search. But Brian wants to receive a truly severe punishment, so he pulls out a hidden pistol and recklessly empties it. Gunshots erupt from both sides, and Officer Sally, who is monitoring the right and front sides of the car, is caught off guard and shot down by Brian.
Partner, are you good? God damn it. Where are you hit? He's down, he's down.
Femur!
Hey, hey!
Where you hit? Femur!
Officer McMurphy notices that Brian has fallen out of his seat due to multiple bullet wounds, so he runs at him and kicks the gun out of his reach. Other officers also come out and assess Officer Sally's situation, who sustained a bullet in his right thigh. Fortunately, both wounded individuals were timely transported to the hospital and recovered from their injuries. Brian was later charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault on a public servant. Case number 2. John Blocker. On June 17th, the Los Angeles Police Department responded to a 911 call about a man who was allegedly pointing a gun at construction workers. Officers rushed to the scene, realizing that time was of the essence in the case, but were met with an unhinged suspect. But before that, here's the footage of the 911 call.
Yes, hi. I'm walking on Beverly and Fuller, and there's this black guy. He's flashing a gun around. He's pointing it to these construction guys, and he's walking on Beverly and Fuller going to Poinsettia. He's wearing a blue sweater.
On Beverly and Fuller?
Yeah, and he's walking towards Poinsettia. He's wearing a blue sweater, and he saw me, so he put the gun inside a bag. But 100% he has the gun, 100%. And he's walking up on Beverly and Poinsettia. He's going up towards La Brea. He's passing Poinsettia right now. I'm like a block away from him, but...
What color is the bag that he has the gun in?
It's like a food bag. He only has one bag with him. But this guy's crazy. He kind of got issues. He was talking to himself, and he pointed at the construction guys. He saw me. He put it in his bag, and he walked past me, and then he pulled it out.
The distressed witness can be heard telling the dispatcher on call how a man is waving a gun around, pointing it at construction workers, and causing a scene. Situations like these can go really wrong really fast. So the officers won't take their chances with dilly-dallying around, and without missing a beat, they rush to the scene.
Male black, 36, 5 years, holding up H plus.
Get in, buddy, get in. La Brea. Beverly. Suspect male black, blue sweatshirt. Get it up, get it up. 688, shot fired.
Officers then locate the suspect standing on a sidewalk, now identified as John Blocker, and attempt to approach him. However, that is where things take a turn for the worse, as John opens fire on the police car. He then runs west on Beverly Boulevard, but turns back and shoots a second time. Surveillance footage from a nearby building then shows him running north.
Yeah, he's right there. 6-8-15. We're gonna be at the Detroit and Beverly. Suspect running northbound on Detroit. Watch out. He's in the. Hold on.
Beverly and
Hold on, he's going northbound.
Beverly and point 70 shots fired. Stand by. In area coming out. Hollywood frequency. 6877, verify your location.
6877, we're gonna be Beverly and Detroit behind the Domino's.
I'm doing the pause.
Hey, get out of here, man.
Please don't say South Beverly and Detroit behind the Domino's shots fired. Suspect is male black.
6877, we need a perimeter, 2 blocks north, 2 blocks west and east.
He knows he shot back at them.
6815, he's wearing a blue shirt, black pants, carrying a tan bag.
The officers get in pursuit immediately. However, it's visibly apparent how shaken up they are. Having to deal with a deranged suspect who has nothing to lose and so gambles with his life and death is not an easy task. However, officers have a job to do and realize the threat Blocker poses to innocent civilians, so they are not deterred by the danger of the situation.
Toward the door, so his back is to the gun now. And he's laying there basically on his stomach with his back to the gun.
Good. So this is the opportunity right now.
640, we're going to make the approach on the suspect now.
Roger, his back is still to the gun. He's still on his stomach.
640, roger.
After causing the biggest fiasco, the officers are informed that the suspect is now in a nearby home, lying down on his stomach with his gun laid on the porch near him. The officers request additional resources and formulate a plan. Realizing the opportunity of the situation, the officers carefully approach the house, fully intent on capturing him in one piece.
Do not move!
They eventually locate him and immediately put him into handcuffs. After this, he's transported to the hospital for treatment of the non-life-threatening gunshot wounds he sustained during the scuffle, or more specifically, a gunshot wound to his arm. However, he has no one but himself to blame for this injury, as it could have been avoided had he cooperated in the first place. In addition, Blocker's loaded 9mm semi-automatic handgun was recovered at the scene and was booked as evidence. Luckily, no bystanders were injured during the whole incident. Case number 3. Brian Simonton. This next case is crazier and more tragic. As on June 6th, officers were called in by a distressed woman who claimed her ex-husband was in her apartment, allegedly violating a protective order and refusing to leave. Following is the footage of the audio call between the dispatcher and the wife.
So he just kind of showed up unannounced, and I know he's like hit rock bottom. I feel bad for him, but I cannot have him here. My ex-husband has, I'm just going to say, I do have a protective order on him. I don't want to press charges, but he's trying to leave his dog with me. He's homeless, has nowhere to go, and the dog is very sick, and he refuses to leave unless I take the dog. I've asked him to leave. At this point, I need to have an officer come and let him know that he's trespassing, and then I also need to have an officer take this dog somewhere where he can be taken care of.
The wife explains how the suspect, identified as Brian Simonton, is inside her apartment with a sick dog. She also lets the dispatcher know that she has a protective order against the man who's currently homeless and has no place to go. Despite the clear danger he poses, the ex-wife compassionately says she doesn't want to press any charges against him. However, what she says next is bone-chilling.
Does he carry any weapons?
He's been known to.
Like what? Knives? Guns?
Guns.
Okay. Will he cooperate with officers when they get there?
I'm scared at how this is going to turn out, to be honest with you.
The dispatcher asks the woman whether Brian carries any weapons the officers should be concerned about, and that is when she reveals the unsettling information that he walks around with a gun. Moreover, she expresses uncertainty about how the confrontation will play out. After this, she provides even more concerning information.
Has he ever given any sort of method?
With his, what if he has a gun? Because I don't know when he's telling the truth or lying, and if he does have a gun, that's what he said. He was going to blow his head off. And
has he ever attempted before?
Not that I'm aware of. He said it.
The hazard of the situation increases even more as the wife explains that Brian has made suicidal comments in the past. The officers now not only have to deal with a citizen who is a threat to other people, but also to himself. It's at this moment that a second 911 call comes in.
Yeah, we have a gentleman here that needs to be removed from the property, known to have guns. He's yelling at me right now.
So where is he at the apartment?
He's in front of Building 1 next to the dog park.
Do you see a gun now?
I don't, but the resident that lives here has a protective order against him, and he will not leave. I asked him to leave. He won't leave, and she said he's known to have guns and knives.
And he's yelling?
Yeah, he's yelling at me, "Come over here, bitch boy. I'll beat your ass right now."
Tell me exactly what happened.
I have my ex-husband here that I have a protective order on. He's threatening people. Is he shooting?
I'm sorry?
I need an officer here right away.
Another resident of the apartment calls and lets dispatchers know just how insistent Brian is being, with him threatening to beat up the caller. After this, the ex-wife calls a second time, updating the officers on the urgency of the situation. The officers rush to the scene, but are shaken by what they see.
Step it up, he just pulled a gun. All units. He's got a gun in his right hand. This is 7-4.
Drop the weapon now! Drop the weapon!
He's coming at me with an 88 in his right hand.
Drop the weapon now! Drop the weapon! Drop the weapon!
He's pointing the firearm at me. Step it up.
Drop the firearm now!
Where are you at?
Come into the complex, go to the left. He's in the parking lot with the gun.
The officer immediately notices the firearm that Brian is holding and commands him to drop it. However, the unstable Brian does something else entirely. He points the gun at the officer. At this point, it's clear that this will only escalate, so the officer calls for backup.
Drop the firearm now!
Where are you in relation to your car?
I'm on the opposite side. Drop the firearm!
He'll be to the east then. Copy, to the east. Trying to find him.
I can't get a shot on him right now. He's behind about 5 cars. Drop the firearm!
White tank top, white hat.
Upper him. Drop it! Drop it!
As the officer waits for backup behind a car, he continuously warns Brian to drop the gun. However, the man is beyond the point of understanding. The officer closes in on him, and that is when Brian, like a cornered animal, does the unthinkable.
White tank top, white hat.
Where is he?
Right here.
He's lifting his gun up at. Hey! Put your gun down! Get back, get back! Get down! He's shooting.
Brian opens fire on the officer, who immediately rushes to take shelter behind the cars again. It is at that moment that backup arrives on the scene too, and they witness the unhinged suspect shoot towards the first officer. With the stakes very high in this game of life and death, the officers are forced to resort to this.
Where is he?
Swing eastbound. Yep, slowing down.
Be careful of crossfire. We're on the east side. Do you see him?
No, he fled back towards 7-4.
Both parties exchange gunfire, and Brian is eventually out of their sights again. Because the incident is going on at an apartment complex, the risk is only greater, as innocent civilians could be caught in the crossfire. And a bad situation only turns worse when the first officer gets injured.
Shots fired. He's running. He's behind building 1. He's gonna be going that way. That way. Cut him off. Oh, 7-4, I'm hit. 7-4, I'm hit. Oh shoot, get in the house! Get in the house!
Wait. You good? Where's he at? Tourniquet.
The officer is shot while dealing with the unstable Brian, and the pain can be heard in his voice as he stumbles away from the scene, desperately calling out for civilians to stay off the battlefield. As quickly as possible, backup rushes to his side to help him, and meanwhile, the shootout continues on the other side.
Yep. Drop it now!
Do you see him?
He still has the gun!
Careful, crossfire!
Watch the crossfire!
Over here! He has the gun still!
Still his hands on the gun!
Show your hands! Show your hands!
Crossfire.
What do you got?
He's over here laying down.
Okay, he's down. Hold on, stay.
Hey, stay here!
Stop there!
Stay!
Stop!
More shots are exchanged between Brian and the officers until finally he's gunned down. He's pronounced dead on the scene as the tragic incident comes to an end. On the other hand, the injured officer is transported to a hospital and fortunately makes a speedy recovery. Case number 4. Edward Giron. Unlike Brian, Edward was not killed by the cops, but he still ended up dead in a disturbing series of events. It all started on the 10th of March 2021, when police were on the lookout for Edward, who earned himself a search warrant for possible stolen property. 2 days ago, a person who closely resembled Edward was caught on the CCTV camera footage committing a series of commercial burglaries. He robbed a total of 4 places in the span of only 72 hours in San Luis Obispo, California. Thankfully, the cops were able to locate and identify the vehicle, which was registered to Edward, confirming that it was indeed him who broke into the properties. They rushed to his residence and found the same vehicle parked outside with multiple reported stolen items placed inside, which could easily be observed in plain view through the windows. But just as they were about to enter his house, something really unexpected happened.
Police department, search warrant, open the door, we're gonna force entry. Giron?
Edward Giron.
Edward, open the door. Edward, it's the police department, open the door.
When the officers approach the apartment, they provide knock and notice identifying themselves as law enforcement, which is required by California Penal Code 844. But it seems that Edward is already well aware of their arrival and has made some really wild countermeasures that, in turn, are going to cost him his life.
Edward, come out here.
When the officers do not receive a response after an extended period of time, they force open the door, but to their surprise, Edward is lying in the corner. As the officers try to assess the apartment, Edward adjusts his aim and takes a shot at the helmet, which kills Detective Luca Benedetti on the spot. The surrounding officers get panic-stricken and rush downstairs as Edward continues firing more shots through the door.
Shots fired, shots fired. He's got a gun, he's shooting at us. All units, all units.
The officer with the body camera informs the base about the situation, and after taking a moment to digest the shock, he thinks rationally and makes the most appropriate decision of going over to the police van and retrieving weaponry. The scene has become nothing less than a battlefield that is taking place in a peaceful neighborhood. Edward has come out to the stairwell and continues to fire shots in all directions. The officers scatter, take positions, and surround the apartment, pushing Edward back inside. At this point, things have escalated to a point of no return. And right when it seemed that more chaos was on the way, something utterly unpredictable happens.
I think so. He came out, he pointed his gun at me.
I'm copy of sound 4223. Response.
A last gunshot is faintly heard under the heavy breaths of the police officer. Edward has just shot and killed himself with Officer Luca Benedetti's service rifle. In the entire encounter, 2 people died and 1 officer, Detective Steve Orozco, got severely injured. He was shot in the arm and head by Edward, and even though he survived his injuries, police say that he has sustained long-term effects from that day. The cops later searched the apartment and found more stolen items hidden inside Edward's home. Case number 5. Jacob Dan Davidson. No matter how dumb Edward was, he cannot match the idiocy of Davidson, who senselessly opened fire on the police patrol car without giving any single thought to the consequences of his actions. The scene unfolded on the 11th of November 2022 when witnesses reported a random shooting in Morrow County and one of the vehicles fled the location. Allegedly, at least one person was injured during this incident and there was considerable damage to the nearby property. The police arrived at the scene within 12 minutes and began their search of the adjacent areas in hopes of locating the suspected vehicle. Officer Devin Wireman noticed a silver Honda SUV with its black window shattered and bullet damage on the rear side of the vehicle. But when he called out to the SUV to stop, this happened.
Foreman's gone!
As the officers attempt to conduct a stop, Davidson fires his rifle through the back window of the SUV, striking the closest patrol cruiser. Officer Wireman returns fire, and one of his bullets hits Davidson's head, who's seen wearing a protective silver helmet. But the impact of the bullet is going to be enough to make him reconsider his life decisions.
Don't you move! Don't move! You move, I'll blast you, mother.
The police officers charge in, and seeing the odds stacked up against him, Davidson drops the recklessness and opts to surrender.
What the hell are you doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, here's my hand. Look.
Don't you move. Don't you move.
I'm just standing for the tires, all right? I understand, okay?
Get the out of here, you mother.
Okay.
I'm not playing with you.
I understand, okay? I'll cross out with you guys, okay?
Yeah, you're gonna stop. Is he shooting at you? Yeah, he shot at me.
The tires, man. The tires.
You shot in the cruise, you dipshit.
The cops are furious, and rightfully so. Davidson has mindlessly emptied his rifle on them and is now surrendering as if he didn't just try to kill them.
Tonight we got one in custody. Not the first person to try to kill me this year. Good job.
I'm trying to kill you, man.
You're shooting at us? You're trying to kill us.
The tires.
Yeah, you're tired. Holy
Dude. You see where I was aiming?
You shot right at me, you mother.
The helmet, the head.
Yeah, you're good.
That's a motorcycle helmet to boot. So you did a better shot than me.
Holy.
All right. Okay. I'm calm.
Pat him down.
I'm calm.
No.
Can you guys like put my dick in my pants, all right? I'm calm. Can you guys calm down, all
Did
right?
you shoot people out there?
No.
In the county?
No.
Because we're looking for a shooting and you just happen to be riding around with a gun? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can and will be used against you in the court of law. The right to an attorney if you can't afford an attorney will be appointed to you by the courts. You have the right to stop speaking at any time. You understand your rights? You serve in the Marines?
Yes, sir.
What the man?
The officers detained the 38-year-old, read out his constitutional rights, and put him in the back seat of the police car. He's later indicted by the Crawford County Grand Jury on charges including felonious assault, a felony of the first degree punishable with up to 11 years in prison, disrupting public services, and improperly handling firearms in a motor vehicle, both fourth-degree felonies punishable with up to 18 months in prison, and also discharging a firearm on or near prohibited premises, a third-degree felony punishable with another 36 months in prison. Davidson stays in custody at the Crawford County Jail, and thankfully, no one sustained any injuries during this incident.